Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to start with a fairly small program, but I believe has significant impact overall. To you, Dr. Mencken, I know that while you were serving as a Navy reservist, you deployed to Kosovo, and I want to thank you for that service very much. Kosovo is important to me personally, but also to the state of Iowa as well. Iowa's National Guard and Kosovo work together through the State Partnership Program, a program that was started to strengthen our security in that region after the fall of the Soviet Union. I believe it is a great program with a lot of impact in that area. And last year I was pleased that my efforts ensured the program was permanently authorized, and going forward I want to make sure that it is properly funded. To you then, Dr. Mencken, would you agree that we need to ensure our budget properly funds programs like the National Guard State Partnership Program? And then if you could, in regards to Kosovo specifically, can you talk about how important it is to have those relationships in that area for their own security?
Thank you, Senator, and good catch on my bio. That seems like a lifetime ago, but I do appreciate you bringing that back. Look, I do think that programs like that are very important, and I think they really leverage expertise in the reserve component, and they also build enduring relationships. I think one of the problems that we've encountered, one of the challenges that's come with our operational deployment pattern over the last 15 years is a lot of habitual relationships have been disrupted. I mean, traditionally it wasn't just National Guard, but Special Forces. We relied upon to develop habitual relationships with partner militaries across the world. And in an era when, for good reason, many of those relationships have been disrupted. I think things like the National Guard partnerships really have filled a key role. And I think going forward, establishing and maintaining those relationships with not just our allies but our partners is going to be all the more important. So I'm fully behind programs like that.
Thank you very much. And I know, Dr. Korb, you had stated that we do need to involve more partners, and I think this is a way of developing some of those partnerships with nations that really share a lot of our same values as well. Do you have any input on that?
Well, I do, and I think, as Dr. Mencken pointed out, this is very critical. We're not in this alone. The threats that we face are global, and we work with, various countries at different times. At the beginning of the Obama administration, the United States worked with Russia to allow our supplies to go through Russia to go to Afghanistan. So there are areas that we can work on. We've had arms control agreements going back to the Nixon Nixon administration. And the other thing I think is important to keep in mind is that the National Guard and the reserves are not just strategic, they're operational.
Absolutely.
And I have fought that for years to get it funded. In fact, before this committee, General Kane and I almost came to blows one time when he objected to my, to my saying that. And I think that's so critical because it is a total force. And as we found out during the height of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, even today, those folks can add to the capacity that we have.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Dr. Mencken, just very briefly, I've got about a minute left. You're the author of a book entitled Strategy in Asia. And one of my greatest concerns is the Islamic State and its spread into Southeast Asia. If you could talk a little bit about our forces and how you would say we should budget and prepare those forces to deal with issues like ISIS in Southeast Asia.
Well, I think that's just one area where we have some very strong partners, and including non-allies, but countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and others. And I think by and large, been doing a very good job by bolstering the identity of their citizens and hardening their citizens against influence by groups like ISIL. So I think working with partners is absolutely key. I think we can play a role. I think largely that role is behind the scenes, supportive, and I think that's as it should be. But as I look at the kind of the global campaign against ISIL, Southeast Asia still remains, I think, largely a success story, and I want it to remain that way.
Fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.